guys, I'm Justin with Shock Therapy, and today we're going to do some sway bar testing. Our goal is to show you the difference between a stock sway bar system on a Razor 1000 and a stiffer system like our rear bar and front system. So what we're going to do is set up a slalom course, but because dirt's got a little bit too many variables for us, we're going to go to an asphalt section so that everything is as stable and consistent as possible to show you the differences between different systems. Luckily, today we don't have to use our test area out here behind the shop. We can go about 2 miles away to a friend's private airport and we'll use that. So don't try this at home. All right, here's our test car. It's a stock Razor 1000 two-seater with a stock sway bar on it right now. We're now going to run through the slalom course at 20 miles an hour. Here's a stock sway bar system running through the slalom course at 25 miles an hour. This is about the max that this car can go comfortably. Here's our stock sway bar system running through the slalom course at 30 miles an hour. Clearly, it's past its limit, picking up the inside tire, and it's close to rolling. Now, here's our test car with a Shock Therapy rear sway bar system installed on the loose setting. The first run through the slalom course is at 25 miles an hour, which was the limit of the stock bar system safely. You can see that our system goes through there very comfortably at 25 miles an hour. As a matter of fact, it looks a little bit easy. This next run is a Shock Therapy rear sway bar on the loose setting at 30 miles an hour. Very comfortable. 5 miles an hour faster than stock. This next run is a Shock Therapy rear sway bar on a loose setting, running through the slalom course at 35 miles an hour. You can see it's approaching its limit, starting to pick up the inside rear tire. Now we're going to adjust the rear sway bar system to the stiff setting and see how it goes. Here's our Razor going through the slalom with the Shock Therapy rear sway bar set at the stiff setting. 35 miles an hour is now comfortable as opposed to the soft setting where it started to pick up the tire. Again, we're running through the slalom with the sway bar at the stiff setting at 40 miles an hour. We've now reached the limit of this setting, starting to pick up the tire just like before. Alright, we're going to change this up quite a bit. We're going to install a Shock Therapy front sway bar system, leaving the Shock Therapy rear sway bar system in place with the rear sway bar on the loose setting and the front sway bar on the loose setting as well. The first run through the slalom course is at 40 miles an hour, completely stable and easy to do. Okay, next run is front sway bar system, rear sway bar system, both set on loose setting, running through a max through the slalom course at 42.5 miles an hour. 45 miles an hour is a little bit much, 42.5 is about as much as it'll do. Here we have a Fox Edition Razor with a factory front sway bar and rear sway bar running through the slalom course easily at 25 miles an hour. Next, we've got the Fox Edition running the slalom course at 30 miles an hour. This is about the max, but it's very comfortable. Last, we have the Fox Edition running the slalom course at 35 miles an hour. It's clearly too much, starting to pick up the tires and wanting to roll. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the stock sway bar system in the rear with the Shock Therapy sway bar system in the rear. One at a maximum of 25 miles an hour and ours at 30 miles an hour. Here's a comparison between the Fox Edition with factory front and rear sway bar and a stock edition with Shock Therapy front and rear sway bar. The Fox Edition is maxed out at 30 miles an hour, but the Shock Therapy version is maxed out at 42.5 miles an hour. For a side-by-side comparison, a stock Razor with a rear bar, a Fox Edition with a factory front and rear bar. The stock Razor runs 25 miles an hour through the slalom, and the Fox Edition runs 30. Compare that to our rear sway bar only on the stock Razor, which is capable of 30 miles an hour just like the Fox Edition is with a front bar. But when you install a front sway bar from Shock Therapy and a rear sway bar from Shock Therapy, your mile an hour goes up considerably. 30 25 miles an hour is no longer hard to accomplish. 42.5 miles an hour is stable and can be duplicated over and over. Running 42 miles an hour through the slalom course kind of makes you want to celebrate. And with a stock razor, you'd never be able to do this, but donuts are pretty easy. Don't try this with a stock sway bar. Thanks for watching our sway bar comparison. Hopefully, armed with this information, knowing the differences between the systems, the mile an hour that it gives you, and the stability in the corners, you can make a better decision as to the kit that you want to purchase for your driving style. Now go out and run it and be safe. Thank you.